Today on Homeworthy, we're visiting the charming North London home of journalist Jess Alavi-Ellis. Continuously renovating her home, she has infused the lovely space with colors that evoke meaningful memories with her family and vintage treasures collected from her extensive travels. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Jess Alavi-Ellis. Welcome to my home in North London. Come on in. Welcome to my hallway. This didn't have any original features left, and a big priority for us was to restore as many of the original features in the house as we could. So we went to the neighbours' houses and saw what cornicing they had. Oh, there's a cobweb there. Saw what cornicing they had and tried to match that exactly. And then we got hold of these really fun tiles and we decided to lay them in block colours. So we have the yellow, we have the kind of teal, and then the white. And then that kind of made me panic about paint, but then we decided let's just go for it. So we blocked it out. So we have this kind of sunshine entryway, which would be a bit overpowering if it was the whole thing, but because it's just hi, this is my front door. We have this sunshine bit, this blue bit, and then the rest is neutral, so you don't feel like you're gonna get a headache. I got this Murano light from auction. I am really into buying from auction sites, buying from vintage markets, antiques markets. I think it's the best way to get the best quality thing, the most bang for your buck. So so that came from Sweden, I think. It's obviously originally from Italy. And then the rest is neutral and full of crazy artwork. Over here we have a collection of, this is mostly pieces that are just meaningful to us. Some tiles that we bought in Mexico. Actually, a really good tip for tile, if you want to put a tile on the wall but you don't want to use one of the plates, is actually just Velcro. So these are command Velcro strips. Anyway, it's my favourite tip for hanging tiles. This one is from Georgia. It's a tile, but this one we put in a little frame. They're from artists who are friends, from antiques markets. This is a stamp from Jordan, and that's where my heritage is from. So this was knitted by my daughter's great grandma. So yeah. So when we bought this house, it had a good feeling about it, and it had been loved once, but it had been a while since it had been loved. A lot of the features were gone. There was a lot of damp and mold, so we really had to kind of take it back to brick and start again. So this room is actually the last room, pretty much, that we've tackled, and I just wanted it to feel like your home. I have a quite intense job. I'm a journalist and I travel a lot in difficult environments, and I just wanted to come home and close the front door and it to be my safe place, and the same for my husband and my daughter and this next baby. So that's why it's hi, sunshine, which is a bit crazy, but I think it works. Over here I actually started recently making some products working with artisans for things that I wanted for my home but I couldn't find, and I really wanted to have candle sconces, lighting without the electrician's bill and with the ambience. So I designed this zigzag sconce, and this blacksmith in Lincolnshire makes them for me. And every time I drop them they sell out, which is really exciting. This is my proud achievement of my home, I guess. I realised I didn't really have any mirrors in the house. I think that was partly a postpartum thing where I was just not brushing my hair, and then I realised I probably should brush my hair before I leave the house. So I put some mirrors in the hallway, and I picked this one up from an antiques market in London, and I really liked the shape. I think it's an Art Deco one. So out of MDF I got a circular saw and I mirrored the shape. I cut it in cardboard first, and then I cut it out in MDF and painted it blue to match the hallway. And so I have a little shelf. We've got like a, you know, like a LED light, and yeah, our keys. And normally it's more full than this. I cleaned it for you. But yeah, so this is like a little happy kind of stop corner before you leave the house. And then I've got this sconce and then this artwork I bought at auction as well. Yeah, I'm a bit obsessed with shopping at auctions, but yeah. In our kitchen, we decided to go for brass worktops, which is a bit unorthodox, and we thought we could mirror that in the hallway. So our side of our like electricity cupboard and our step, like our riser, has also got brass that we got like cut in sheets and stuck on. So kind of adds a bit of light and interest, and also ties in with the kitchen. So come with me to our front room. I think this is my favourite room in the house, actually. It's actually the most neutral room in the house, which is quite unlike me, but I wanted to fill it with colourful things, vintage pieces, and lots of lamps. So when we bought the house, the sash windows had been removed, the fireplace had been removed, the coving and skirting, it was all gone. So we painstakingly put it all back. So we bought this fireplace off like a resale site. Might sense a theme here. We got this Victorian cornicing, which I got to match what the neighbours had, so it would be as original as possible. We put the sash windows back in. We put these kind of grand, taller skirtings back in. We put wood floors back down. We used like Zellage checkerboard tiles for the bottom of the fireplace. And then we have these Vitso shelves, which we've had, I think we've had them for like 12 or 13 years, and they've come everywhere with us. So this kind of collection of random, my husband would say tat, but I would say treasure. And books, lots of like travel books, lots of journalism books, because I'm a journalist. And yeah, lamps everywhere. I mean, you'll struggle to find a corner in this house that can't be lit. So I'm a journalist and I work in TV news. So yeah, news bulletins mostly, so like regular news. I don't have a particular specialism. It has variously been the Middle East, where I've been based and where my heritage is from. I've been based in Russia as like Moscow correspondent. But now I'm like in London off camera and I travel for big stories, but otherwise I stay home. This room is full of like vintage finds. This Ligne Rose sofa I got for £1, £1 on eBay, which I am so happy with. And it's like a sofa bed and it's really comfy. And then this footstool I made. So I wanted to have something that had like really big ball feet. It didn't really exist, so I got in touch with this wood turner and he had some leftover like Iroko, so he turned it into the balls I wanted for feet, and then I made the actual footstool out of MDF and upholstered it in this green denim. So this is like a proud achievement for me. We've done a lot of DIY since we got this house, out of necessity, but these are the kind of DIYs that I actually really enjoy. So yeah, this is my creation. And denim is like wears really nicely and is really cheap. So if you ever want to upholster anything and you want it to be really hard wearing, denim comes in loads of colours and it's actually great. This is like a Terence Conran 60s habitat chair. It's actually, this chair is in a design museum in London. Not this particular one, and I got this on eBay. It's like, this is like my cat's and my daughter's favourite place to sit. It might be quite hard for me to get back up now I'm pregnant, but yeah, it's like the corduroy has lasted really well. So yeah, some iconic pieces for little budgets. And then here we just have like trinkets. There's this shop in London called Iota Edit. They're also online and they make all of these cool things, like little ceramic fruit. And I went to a class with them and you could like paint your own, so that's one I painted. and I love this garlic. I'd like to get like a whole fruit bowl of these pieces. They're so cute. And this is by a maker called Origo House, and she made like a little portrait of my daughter who's 3, Remy, and she's like makes them out of ceramic. You just send her a picture and frames it like Victorian style, which I think is really cute. And then it's just like family photos, small pieces from artists I love, records. Yeah, that's why this is my favourite room, because it's just full of like little meaningful treasures. I have these really cute ceramic dominoes, which I absolutely love. They're like, this is also from Iota actually, so they're a great little store, and yeah, I love like how they look. I'd like to get more of those. So I also got this vintage zigzag table. This is probably the most dangerous and impractical thing I own, but I'm into zigzags, and I got this steel zigzag table. It's vintage and it's amazing, but then I had a toddler, so it's been bubble wrapped for a while, but now she knows to keep her distance from it because we don't want any scuffed knees. So yeah, maybe when this baby comes, it's going to be in bubble wrap again. But for now, it's like my favourite piece that I own. It's really heavy, it's really cool and brutalist, and it's like one of a kind, which I love. In this room, we mostly like listen to music, listen to records. There's no like TV in here, it's in the snug. So this is like have a drink with friends, have some conversation. Like in a way, it's like the grown-up room. It's got some of the like more artwork in it, more breakable things in it. And my daughter obviously is welcome to come in here, but like there's no toys in here, so this is kind of like the adult space. So come with me into the snug. So this room, as you can see by all the lights on, is really dark. So where this window is where you would have gone out the back door before we did an extension. And a lot of houses in London, like Victorian houses, they would like have that open, so it would be like another hallway. But we didn't want to lose the room by having like a second hallway. So we were like, let's embrace the dark. We like colour drenched the walls, ceiling, skirting, like everything in this like dark green, and then we got the window to bring through some light, but like so that you couldn't walk through, so that it would be, yeah, a full TV room. So this is where you'll find my husband and I after bedtime, after my daughter's bedtime every night. And we picked this colour actually because we got married in November in the Basque Country, and we got married like at the bottom of some mountains, and it was rainy and misty, but it was like really, you know, that kind of like wet green day. So it's kind of reminds us of that colour palette of our wedding. So it's like this cosy, personal, enveloping feeling. And I really love to choose colours like that, like based on memories. I think it's really hard to choose colours from a colour palette. You might be led by trends or like something you've seen on Instagram or Pinterest that might not be something that you'll actually love in years to come. So I like to think of memories and what made me feel like a certain way, and then like look at photos of that time, and yeah, so and then like lean into those colours. So this and our bedroom is our wedding day in our Basque Country, and you'll see in a minute our kitchen is our honeymoon in Mexico. So this like it was a series of happy accidents. Like was collecting these fish plates and one of them smashed, so it's like instead of throwing it away, let's just like make it an art piece. This is vintage, like a vintage English lamp, and I painted the lampshade. My husband is super into mezcal, so there's like lots of very niche mezcals here. And then, oh, this is clever actually. Well, clever sounds like I'm bragging, but I think it's a good idea. We wanted to have the TV on the wall, but didn't want to have all the cables, and this fireplace doesn't work. So we channeled a hole like through the chimney, and then it goes into this cabinet. So like the like PlayStation, Apple TV, cables, all of that kind of crap goes in here through the fireplace. So it means like hidden wires, but actually like it looks really cute. And this cabinet is vintage as well. And these handles are like this brand, Matilda Goad, which is like this cute British brand, and they have these cute back plates. So we kind of updated it because they were broken. So yeah, and I'm not drinking at the moment because I'm 8 months pregnant, but I'm looking forward to coming here and having some of my husband's mezcal in a month. In this room, again, there were like no original features left, so we restored like the cornicing, but the fireplace wasn't working, so we decided instead to make it like a nook, and we did these checkerboard zellage tiles, and like put kind of a brass edging. And this is actually my daughter's train set. But we've got throws here. Yeah, storage is key. And then we have this artwork, which I feel so lucky to own. It's by this artist called Studio Lenker, and it's one of his really early pieces, and I was lucky enough to buy it from him before he got super big and famous and popular. So a very treasured piece. And then a photo that my husband took when I was living in Moscow as Moscow reporter, and he came to visit me, and he took some cute photos. So we've got that, and then this really comfy sofa, which is by Rocket St George, and then another footstool that I made with some Missoni dead stock fabric. So I talk a lot about DIY, but I don't actually enjoy DIY, but I like nice things, and sometimes the only way to get those is to make them yourself. I wish I could show you the before of these rooms. They had not been loved. They had this like a laminate floor, but it was really damaged. There was damp. All of the original features had sadly been like ripped out. So, but they were actually the rooms in the best condition in the whole house. So for a while we were renovating, and it took us a while because we did like 18 months of it DIY, like learning to build stud walls and do tiling, and yeah, it's crazy the skills that we learn. So we actually left these rooms almost till last. We had our fridge in here, and it was like actually one of the cleanest, least mouldy places in the house. So the before of this isn't as bad as the other befores, but the house had been loved. It just had a little period of neglect. So it had that good feeling of like a home that had been loved. It just hadn't been able to be looked after. So hopefully now we've looked after it. And this opening was actually already here, but it was quite simple. So a little hack is we wanted it to be like quite thick and grand, like a Victorian house would have been. So we actually used 2 layers of skirting board to like make this kind of grander thing, because you can't really buy architrave this big, not easily anyway. So we kind of made this ourselves, and then to do the transition we kind of did this like black stripe, which looks a bit like there might be a pocket door there, but there isn't. This is just in here. So in this room the floors had been removed, like the original wood floors, so the closest we got to those was this like engineered oak floor, and we put in underfloor heating. So this was like a splurge, but I love these floors so much. I love that you can see the grain, and they look semi like they've been here as long as the floors might have been. But this house was built in 1890, so upstairs we're actually lucky enough to have all the original floorboards, but unfortunately lots had been pulled out in its 130 years of existence. I'm a bit obsessed with gardening. I feel so lucky to have a garden in London, and I spend a lot of my time growing flowers, and so all of these I picked from my garden yesterday ahead of you coming over. It's all a bit wild, but I'm so proud to have grown all these things. I'm a relative novice, but it brings me a lot of joy. So yeah, these are all from our garden. Do you want to come with me and see the kitchen? Let's go. So welcome to our kitchen. When we first moved in, this actually was a kitchen, but then at the end of the kitchen there was like an accessible bathroom, and and shower, which we didn't need downstairs. And the view from the garden was like blocked off, and the garden was actually all concrete because they wanted it to be like low maintenance. So we really opened it up, added in these like picture windows, big doors, and this is where we spend most of our time, because we have like a sofa in here, we have this kitchen which I love, and these big windows, so it's always bright. So you can see it's rainy, obviously, because it's London. When we bought the house, it kind of ended here, but the footprint was the same apart from that. So we extended out to the side, and we decided to expose the steel beams, which is now very useful for hanging bananas and drying flowers. And then we get a lot of artwork home from nursery for my daughter, and we do a lot of art here. So this is kind of where I display our kind of family photos and art. So I actually love having this like American style fridge freezer, because it's like magnet, crazy artwork, heaven. This is the other side of that picture window in our snug, and it's unintentionally turned into the perfect play area for my daughter. She loves like having this, like she always says like, this is my area, which is really nice. She's as into flowers as me. She picked those yesterday and put them in her science beakers. It's too cute. So we have like her toys, and we don't interfere with her area, and it's actually like worked out perfectly. We have a sofa in here. Our kitchen was made by this father-daughter cabinetry maker duo, and so we wanted it to be like birch ply, so it's birch ply, and then the worktops are brass, which some people might hate because they do mark, but I love that like aging patina. So when we first got them, they were like super shiny, and now they're like aging, and I feel like every splash is like, the story of like a drink spilled, or like with friends, or like dinner for my daughter, or I don't know, I love that like aging. So we embraced the brass. We used Zellage tiles again. I did this tiling with my dad, so excuse any imperfections, but I'm very proud of it. And then we have like bits and bobs we've collected from holidays, and this is a junk shop find. These we bought in Mexico. These two, they're like whack and clay. So it's just like, it's made by my daughter. So it's just like special pieces to us. My husband's really into knives, so we have the knives proudly on display. They're mostly from Japan. I'm mostly not allowed to use them. The microwave and toaster is like tucked away, spices tucked away. So we really thought about how to, like, what we needed to store. We made like a really big list of what we needed to store in the kitchen, and then made sure there'd be a space for everything. Our like worktops are a little bit higher than average because my husband's tall and he does most of the cooking. Lucky me. And then this is like a Montessori tower. It's my daughter's, so she can get involved with cooking, which she does all the time. We do a lot of baking, so it's a nice coincidence that it matches the kitchen. Come this way and you'll see where we eat all our meals. So this was the area that was a loo and a shower when we first moved in, and it was in quite a state of disrepair actually. The building was kind of falling down, and when we went to add windows, it did fall down, so we had to rebuild it, but we used the same footprint. And I got this table was actually as old as the house. I got it in an antiques market, and it was made in like the 1890s, and so was the house. So I love that. So my dad built me this banquette out of birch ply to match the kitchen, and we had it upholstered in this green denim, which I love because it ages really nicely. It's easy to zip off and clean, and it's just like really hard wearing for lots of bums. This actually is maybe one of my favourite features in the house, where we've been recording my daughter Remy's height. Look how tall she is, my baby. So I like that even though this is like scratched and done in pencil, we're like, it's the story of our family in this as the current custodians of this home. This artwork is also by Studio Lenka. It's actually a commission. At the time we were in Mexico, and he was like, oh, I'll do an artwork inspired by the Frida Kahlo self-portrait where she's sat on a chair with the dog. So that's his interpretation of that, which I love. These, again, are from antiques markets. They're a copy, actually, of the Willy Gould ones. The real ones are made of asbestos. So the one exceptional to having a copy is those. And then, yeah, this is really messy, but it's where I'm growing all my seedlings to be planted out in the garden later. And then here's like our big back doors, and it's rainy today, so it's not very exciting, but they they're bifolds, so they open all the way up to the garden. But our only compromise was we have cats, so there is a cat flap built into the bifolds, don't tell anyone. So they can go out freely. And then this garden was like all concrete before, and now hopefully it's very well loved space, full of my flowers and lots of snails, really a lot of snails. So when we saw the house and it was all blocked off, like no view to the garden, I knew that it could be open to the garden. It could feel like you're eating outside without having to actually risk the British summertime of trying to eat outside. So if you want that vibe, we can just open the door, and the table's so close you can almost feel like you're eating outside. And then the lime wash walls are inspired by our honeymoon in Mexico, and we really wanted to feel that joyful feeling that we had then. So we decided to go with this lime wash. A word of warning on lime wash: it marks really easily, but I kind of embrace those flaws, and I love it anyway. And this terracotta-y colour is also really flattering, so it's really nice to sit here in this light. This is also vintage. Everything is vintage. Yeah, so it's has that feeling of outdoor, but I still have these voiles. My dad's business is curtains and blinds, so I have the hookup. So he got me these voiles, which I love, because you can still have that billowing outdoor feeling. Yeah, oh look, we actually, because we live in London, there's always some noise. We actually have the train at the back, which at first I thought would be a big downside, but it's actually a massive plus because it means we're not overlooked, which is really unusual for London. So instead of having windows looking at us, there's a train every now and then, but I don't mind that. The garden is a bit unusual because it was a blank canvas, so we were what do we want to do? And we decided to build a pétanque court. So actually that gravel bit that you can kind of see in the distance is a pétanque court, French balls. And we really underestimated how hard it would be to do that. It was 12 tons of gravel that we had to hand carry through the house because we've got no side access. And we almost never play on it, but it's nice when we do. So we have the pétanque court, we have the planting. We built this terrazzo island, which I tiled with my dad, and we built this pink bench, which I used the lime wash left over from inside, and then I had upholstered in this bespoke stripe from this cute brand called Colours of Arley, and I used a blue piping, and then I have this arch which I'm growing grapes over, and I have these veg planters for my daughter, so we're growing beans and strawberries and courgettes, and yeah, it's my happy place. Okay, I'm going to take you upstairs. So this is my daughter's room. She's nearly 3, and it's just full of really sentimental pieces, which I feel is my favourite thing for a kid's room. So we have a tapestry that my mother-in-law started when my husband was born, and she gave it to our daughter, which is like so lovely. And actually a tapestry that my nan and I did, my late nan, when I was really little, an alphabet tapestry by her like great grandma, and a poem, and like just some random nice elephant hooks. So it's like, yeah, full of things that are meaningful to us. These are like handmade alphabet tapestries. I love the less attractive video monitor, but you know, I need to do these things. And yeah, because the teddies are sleeping. This is actually really cute. I'll show you this. It's this box, like a keepsake box from Globetrotter, which is this like great British heritage company, and it has like her birth date and like her name and these cute animals on it, and in it we keep like, you know, like all sentimental bits, like some of the things that she's made, like her mittens from hospital. So I love a nice keepsake box, and I like that it doesn't look like, you know, like children's tat. It looks nice for me too. We have this comfy like G-plan chair, which is vintage. And then I got these, my mother-in-law is actually a really talented seamstress, and she made these curtains for us out of some fabric I bought. But the best thing actually, I feel like with the child's room, you need blackout. And so we have these like, these blackout blinds that are like hidden in the frame of the window, and they're so good, and they both come down. So we have the curtains for like aesthetic reasons, and then the less attractive but very practical blackout blinds. Yeah, they're so good. And we have another Globetrotter suitcase there actually above her wardrobe. This wardrobe was my husband's grandfather's wardrobe, so lots of like handed down things in here. And then her toy racks actually are IKEA spice racks. They were like £3 each, and I think they look they're like the perfect size for kids' toys. So there we go, IKEA spice racks. My mother-in-law made this, and her great-grandma made that, and then have this like big map of the world that I've been like putting a sticker on the places that she's been. So yeah, lucky girl. I wish I had travelled as much as her, but she's got 3 or 4 stars on there already. So yeah, and this is the only carpeted room in the house actually. Everywhere else it's floorboards, but she has a carpet, a nice wool, like really comfy carpet. So yeah, and she also has like this, my late nan made. She actually made it before I was even married, and she died before I was pregnant, but she'd like made baby things for when I like one day had a baby. Makes me quite emotional. Anyway, very sweet. And my mother-in-law made this gorgeous quilt. Very lucky, we've got some very talented women in our family. If only I were as talented as them. They're, yeah, spectacularly talented. I made that terrible lampshade. This room was originally like going to be a spare room, and then we got pregnant, and I was like, let's make it really like cozy and enveloping, because really she's playing where we are. She's not like coming and playing in her room. She's not that of that age yet. She wants to be like with her mum and dad, and also we want to see her to make sure she's like being safe. So we went for like dark because it's a sleep space, and then she was so lucky to have all these people who love her, who made her these beautiful artworks, who bought this beautiful like handmade mobile. So this room is like a bit of me, but has like lots of playful things for her to look at and enjoy and like learn as well. We have like, we're big into books, she's big into books, and so every evening our routine is to like sit in this chair and we read like multiple stories, and yeah, it's just like ever evolving space for her, which feels really special. So this room, like hopefully everywhere I've shared with you, is a place that I designed so that we could feel like safe and secure at home when so many other things are uncertain. I travel a lot for work and my husband travels a lot for work, and so home is like truly a sanctuary. We're so privileged to have a home, and I feel so lucky from that. Like both of us had mums who suffered a lot to get us basic things when we were growing up, so I feel like so privileged to have this safe space for my daughter and this baby that's going to be here soon. We don't know if it's a girl or a boy. So the whole idea behind this house is like calm, safe, like joyful, if all those things go together, I don't know. Happy place, and miraculously we've done it on a budget through just like grit and determination to like learn skills that we didn't particularly want to learn and hopefully won't use again, but I'm really proud of what we've achieved.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.